Welcome back to the weekly market recap. We go over this week's market while keeping it as simple as possible. Now, this week, before I go over the hottest topic, which is tariff wars, I want to show you guys a broad view of the market and exactly where we're at currently. And that's so important because once you see where we're at currently, you can be able to make the decisions that are best for you. So first, let's look at the S&P 500. And the S&P 500, again, are the top 500 companies in the United States. And if you look at this chart, what is the major thing you're seeing? Well, you should be seeing this V-shaped pattern. So what that is showing is the S&P 500 was at its all-time high in about February, and then we had these tariff wars, and then the market had went all the way down to about April the 8th, and then from there we bounced right back up. Now the S&P 500 is based on these major 500 companies, but what's really driving the S&P 500 is the major tech stocks that we use on a day-to-day basis, like Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. Those companies are the biggest companies in the United States. And with them being such big companies, how their stock price go affects the S&P 500 greatly. So let's just look at the tech sector, which is the NASDAQ. So that just shows all tech stocks. Looking at this NASDAQ chart, since April the 8th to now, it's been about 5 weeks. And in that time frame, the NASDAQ has went up almost 30%, about 23%. And just letting you guys know, that almost never happens. So you see that big of a rally up after going down so fast. Now, when is the last time we've seen that? It's when the coronavirus news started. Remember, we're in quarantine and the stock market went down tremendously. And the reason is because investors, again, hate uncertainty. So the world did not know what was going to happen next, and the stock market fell off. And then from there, the stock market shot right back up. So again, looking at this latest V-shaped bottom, it started when Donald Trump announced that he was having tariffs on all these different countries. And then it bottomed on April the 8th. And then from there, we've been shooting right back up. So why did the stock market shoot up this week? Well, the stock market shot up this week is because we had major news on a trade deal with China. So there has been rumors on a trade deal for the last couple weeks, and people were buying into the stock market. And Monday, we got an update on trade deal between the United States and China. Major news with this update is the United States and China is actually going to take a pause on their tariff wars. And what's going to happen is both sides are going to take their tariffs down tremendously. And the United States is actually going to only put a 30% tariff on China goods. Well, China is taking their tariffs on imports from the United States down as well to about 10%. But the main thing to know about this situation is this is not a tariff deal. This is only a pause. So again, to do a recap, both countries are at war and it's affecting both economies. But both countries come together and saying, hey, we need to figure out if we can make a deal. And until this deal gets locked up, let's pause these high tariffs on each other and let's negotiate and go to the table together and find out, can we come up with a deal to end this tariff war altogether? So again, that was a huge boost on the stock market that now we finally see a pause. But again, you do not want to take this as a done deal between tariffs between the United States and China. This is, again, just a time for them to negotiate. The reason why I'm doubling down on explaining it is because I want you guys to understand this is negotiation pause. So again, tariffs are coming down, but if they cannot come to an agreement in these 90 days for the pause, then all the tariffs for the 100% plus will come back. So while all these investors are piling money in the stock market, if we hear one news that these tariff negotiations are not going good, then the market can crash, and it can crash down very fast. So again, you want to keep that in the back of your mind. But again, right now we are up on the stock market, and again, looking at the S&P 500, we're about to hit that critical level of 6,000 on the S&P 500. So again, we need to see what happened at that point. Will the market keep going up or keep going down? So again, you guys remember, the markets always go up and down, and we had this huge move up. We need to see if we can pass that 6,000 mark, or we're going to come back down first and then pass it. So again, it's a lot of things that's going on, but you want to keep informed to see what's best for you. Now, first, let's look at cryptocurrency real quick. If you look at this chart, you'll see that Bitcoin did pass $105,000. Now, the next level on Bitcoin is basically that double top area of about $109,000 mark. So make sure you look out for that to see if we pass it or we reject it, and we can go right back down. While we talk about Bitcoin, we might as well talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum had a huge last couple of weeks. If you look at this chart above, you'll see that Ethereum has been going up since it hit that $1,500 mark. So now Ethereum is almost at a 2x. So we need to see what happens at the next resistance, which is about $28 $2,800 on Ethereum. So again, with so much moving parts going on in the stock market, I just want to let you guys know exactly what's going on with this tariff wars and again with this pause. So we need to see, will these deals actually be signed and we can come to agreement so we can have the tariff wars behind us. So again, I'll be letting you guys know everything that's going to happen step by step. Again, my DMs are always open if you have any questions. But again, this is the weekly market recap. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.